I got a chance to watch Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore this weekend, and I walked away with what I believe is a great example on how to course correct a franchise. First things first, this movie corrects and is a step in the right direction against what's plagued this entire franchise from the start: J.K. Rowling's writing. As good of a novelist as she might be, her screenwriting skills have been questionable at best. Barring recent controversies, the first two films were written like a third-person account, just throwing out exposition and plots and trying to explain to us a story that would have been much more interesting if she had just shown it. Secrets of Dumbledore, on the other hand, actually feels like a cohesive story, and that's largely thanks to the screenwriter they brought back, Steve Kloves. Following the reactions to Crimes of Grindelwald that were mixed at best, Warner Brothers thought it appropriate to bring back franchise veteran Steve Kloves. Steve Kloves has written every single Harry Potter film up until the Fantastic Beasts franchise, and it really shows that this one was able to recapture that magic from the previous movies, and I think it really worked out on their behalf. The JK problem with this franchise is really something that Warner Brothers needs to correct, and I think presumably that could be done by slowly edging her out till all that remains is just a blanket executive producer credit, but more on that later. The movie moves past the previous ones and builds off of them, throwing us directly into what worked: Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Dumbledore is very much the main character of this film. We follow him as he sets the events into motion, leading all the way up to the final showdown. The LGBTQ romance between them is very much present, and Mads Mikkelsen and Jude Law have amazing chemistry together. While Johnny Depp will be missed, the character still works with what's his third new face in the franchise. The other characters have been handled in a way that also services the story. No one really feels just kept in there for the sake of being shown. Everything works with the story. Everyone has a part to play. Even the titular Fantastic Beasts are actually used in a way to propel the story and for comedic relief, as compared to earlier just simply existing in frames and just being used for one or two sequences. This movie to me was able to recapture some of that magic from the earlier Harry Potter films, and I think it's literally because it got the same writer back. With all of these controversies surrounding the different cast members and creators behind the scenes, this franchise really needed to deliver, and what we end up with is a very entertaining movie that finally feels like a Harry Potter film. Moving forward, I could see the next film shifting over to being solely written by Steve Kloves, or maybe a story by JK, and then the final film finally just delegating her to a backseat executive producer credit, since she is ultimately the creator of this IP. They can't just fully remove her from it, but ideally it would just be her as an executive producer credit, which would just be a throwaway credit, and then having someone else do the story, and then having it written by Steve Kloves or someone else. In terms of box office, the movie opened to $43 million, which is great considering the other pandemic openings and the response to Crimes of Grindelwald, but it is the lowest for the franchise. With a production budget estimated at $200 million, the movie's probably going to need $400 million to justify a sequel, so it does make sense that they end the movie on a conclusive note. It feels like the ending of a show where they didn't know if it was going to get renewed or not, so they just sort of tied up all of the plots and characters, and they just leave them to a point where they can continue if needed, but if not, it sort of serves as a good conclusion. I really feel personally that they should power through this, since this movie was a great attempt at course correcting, and I think the mixed but comparatively positive reaction to the film will help them. Well, so there's my thoughts on Secrets of Dumbledore. I thought it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I think it was a positive step in the right direction for the franchise as a whole. You don't have to necessarily agree with me or disagree with me. I do suggest that if you are going to watch it, you still go ahead and watch it, sort of form your own opinion on it. Share your thoughts below. Let me know what you think of the franchise as a whole and where you think it could go further if they do make those two sequels.